If you're starting a marketing agency, there are 3 mistakes that will slow you down massively, and I've made all of them. Over the past year, I've been building a small marketing agency for local businesses in my area, and I managed to get up to around £2,000 a month whilst working a full-time job. And looking back, these mistakes probably cost me months of progress, especially the last one. Whether you're just starting out or you're already an existing agency owner, let me know if you've made this mistake, because it's so obvious once you hear it. But the thing is, most people completely overlook it, and I know I did. I'm guilty of it, and I still do it to this day. The first mistake I made was when I was pitching business owners, I was pitching services rather than outcomes. The bottom line is business owners don't really care about what services you offer. They only really care about how it affects their business and how you can improve their bottom line. So instead of saying something like, I can run your social media for you, I can post 5 times a week, you could say, I can get you more inquiries, more sales, more leads, whatever the goal is, through, and then go on to explain your content plan and how it helps, as opposed to just saying, I can run your social media. Because in our heads, you're thinking, social media, really important, really powerful tool if it's done right, but they don't know your capabilities. They don't understand creatively the vision that you might have. So it's your job to explain that and how it ultimately affects their business. At the end of the day, clients don't think like marketers. Like I say, they've got 101 other problems in their business. They are too busy running their business to worry about how many Facebook impressions they're getting. And this becomes really difficult to pitch them on, especially if you don't understand their client base, which leads me on to my next mistake. The second mistake I made was not taking enough time to understand the client's business fully and their target customer or target audience. I started working with a business thinking that I fully knew their business, but in reality, I probably hadn't asked them enough probing questions to get out of them. Especially with local businesses, it's quite easy from the outside looking in to think that you know everything about their business, services they offer, for example. But there's always details you don't know, especially when you're trying to target their audience. So you might have a mismatch in who you think they're trying to target, maybe their existing client base. So I would start working with businesses, start jumping into content without really kind of going deep enough who their customers actually are, the age range, their situation, their pain points, their goals, what they're looking for, in order to kind of target them effectively. And that really meant, even though I was doing the work and producing what I ultimately set out to do, it wasn't landing properly with the audience of that business. Because marketing only really works when it speaks to the right person in the right tone. So if you don't really understand that business's target audience, it becomes a bit of a guessing game, really. So the third mistake, and probably the biggest one that I've made, and actually probably still would continue to make to an extent, is that I wasn't reaching out to enough businesses. When I started, I was concerned about reaching out to too many people at one time, because I had this vision in my head of me sending out 20 cold emails, getting overwhelmed with replies and people wanting to meet. And in reality, that just doesn't happen. If you're sending cold emails, I mean, for every 10 to 15 emails I was sending, maybe 5 would actually reply. Within that, a smaller percentage of them would actually be interested in maybe meeting up to discuss, and then, a small percentage would actually sign up. So I ended up massively limiting my growth. I still do it to this day, and I'm still guilty of it, because I overestimate the amount of people that from cold emails would actually be keen for signing up to something like that. I would say reach out to as many people as you can. Don't limit yourself. Just go for it and deal with whoever comes in, because chances are it's a much, much, much smaller percentage of people actually interested in these kind of services than you think. And that could be a variety of reasons. Maybe budget, they don't see the value, maybe especially local businesses, if they're busy already and they've got a good flow of leads, they don't really need to spend the money on marketing. So just go out and just try and get as many people as you can. So those are the 3 biggest mistakes I made starting out. If you're an existing agency owner and you've made the mistakes, let me know. It would make me feel a bit better. It's not just me. Also, if you've got any mistakes you've made that you think would be worthwhile to somebody in this position as well, you should stick them in the comments. It might help me, but it certainly would help somebody else out there. So go ahead and leave a comment below. I am still early building my agency journey, so my videos going forward will be about the journey of building my own business, mistakes I made, the good, the bad, everything in between. So stick around and hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.